welcome to our Weather Impact Live. I'm meteorologist Mike Prangley. We've got Robert Speta in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm here in beautiful St. Pete, and I've got the handheld fan, Robert, on a day like today. How are you doing, buddy?
Ooh, I want one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the type of day you need it. It's just, it's hot. I don't know if you can see it over my head right here.
I see it.
That's the graphic of the day. Hot.
It is nice big letters there. I see the hot, and I saw
that's simple. Just
we got the Jacksonville
that's
Beach
what's going on.
Yeah, I like the background. You got Jacksonville Beach in the background. So today, for family friends maybe heading to Michler's or Jack's Beach, can they at least find a little relief?
Maybe. If you're right along the coast, a little bit of a sea breeze, but in general, we got a weather impact alert here in place, as well as you there in Tampa, because of the heat index pushing up to 108 above. Heat advisories in place all across not just the first coast, but central and northern Florida. Of course, it gets hot. We know that here. It's Florida. I've gotten the comments. I'm sure you have as well. People saying, it's hot. We know it's July, but today it's taking it to the next level, and tomorrow for that matter. And plus, it's a weekend, so everybody's outside. But some of the warmest temperatures, at least in Jacksonville, we've had since last August, to kind of put it in perspective here, Mike.
Yeah, good analysis. In fact, there's that heat advisory, and we're talking Brunswick, Georgia, down to Jacksonville, St. John's. I'm checking on, let's see, lots of friends and family down there. And then we got this going all the way through Tampa, all the way south into Manatee County. So much of the state is now under this heat advisory, so we'll call it the sizzle state this weekend. This is for today and tomorrow. We've got a big dome of high pressure. In fact, what is different about this heat? I mean, we get hot. Well, as Robert was talking about, we don't get too many heat advisories. In fact, this may be the first one for many counties across Florida of the entire summer. So what we're talking about is this big ridge of high pressure just sprawling across the area, bringing a lot of sinking air, compressing it, it's heating it up, and we're getting above that threshold now where once you get to 107 or above, there's some big problems across the area. Okay, so once it's what we call going from Florida heat to dangerous heat. All right, and look at those temperatures. So Jacksonville, Florida, 97 degrees. Yeah, you see a 40% chance of a shower, but don't count on that. That's maybe a pick-a-lotta sprinkle. And then here in Tampa, we're talking about, finding our cool spots, even for a place known for the heat. And that 93, don't let that fool you, because we're going to feel like 108 to 112 in the shade. So, Robert, they say it's not the heat, it's the humidity. But my weather saying of the day is it's the heat and the humidity. And look at that double-headed monster, that big ridge, that heat dome, so to speak. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, what I like to say is big bubble, no trouble, because you get these high pressure areas that suppress cloud cover. And if, of course, in the summer in Florida, our main kind of controlling factor for temperature is not fronts. We don't really get a lot of cold fronts. We don't get warm fronts. Those are more of a winter phenomena. It is cloud cover. And if you have dual high pressures on both the west and the east coast, that it's going to suppress. It's going to basically, it's not going to limit all the clouds, but those big developing widespread clouds, it really is going to knock that down outside of your localized sea breeze stuff. So with that said, less cloud cover equals more sunshine equals hotter temperatures. Doesn't really take a full-on meteorological scientist to put that one together. And this weekend, there is all of these factors coming together for just as exceptionally warm temperatures. And we say less moisture, which is the truth, in the mid to upper levels, but we still have the humidity down towards the surface. So it is that just kind of double whammy factor here across the state of Florida that's going to be making things just hot.
And
I think that's the best way. Just hot. It's one of those days where you go outside, Mike, and you go, oh.
It just hits you, like a brick. But hey, it's so hot and humid, though, that we do have even overnight temperatures that really aren't falling much below 80 if you're lucky. So that's another reason why in this type of heat, these fans, we started with this handheld fan. This is not going to do it. We need to seek air conditioning. We got to check on the little people, the elderly, the pets. We got to make sure they have plenty of water. We have got to take it seriously because look at Jacksonville's low. We've got Sunday morning near 80 degrees, and that's officially at the airport. We know that most folks don't live at the airport on the north side. You go down to Mandarin, you go to Julington Creek, you go to St. John's. Oh, we're talking about 80 degrees at Creekside High School. So we're talking about temperatures. Yeah, even though we get hot in Florida, this is taking it a little bit to the next level. In fact, here's Sunday afternoon. Once again, Jacksonville pushing in the mid to upper 90s. Here in Tampa, a sizzling high in the low to mid 90s and showing a 50% chance of a shower. But again, with those two big ridges, the double whammy, high pressure and control, really tough to squeeze out much rain. Here's about 3 o'clock. Yeah, along areas of the Courtney Campbell Causeway, trying to squeeze out a quick shower. And then you go along I-4. I know a lot of folks like going to the theme parks this time of year. Orlando, don't cancel your plans because of that shower we're showing you. We're talking about less than a half-hour shower. Then we head up toward I-95, Palm Coast, St. Augustine Beach. I see Crescent Beach in there. Again, these are just few and far between. And then there's another shower on the south side as we head toward 250. But notice Jacksonville's rain chances low. It's really more about the temperatures.
If anything, for the Orlando area, if you're out at a theme park, I would welcome that little local shower, to be quite frank with you.
Yeah,
it's going to provide a little relief from the heat there,
Yeah, no, I would welcome it as well, as long as we get inside for the lightning, as you know, Robert, when Thunder Roar's heading doors. So our weather impact alert really is for today and tomorrow, really from Tampa to Jacksonville. I have the hottest 6 hours. Our heat advisory officially for Tampa is 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., and there's the difference maker right there, 107 to 112 in the shade. Seek air conditioning, check on the people and pets. So let's talk more about heat safety, and we got Troy, our wonderful director. He's going to call up a little heat graphic. And Robert, you've been talking about this a lot. We have as well, heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. Ooh. This is certainly heat exhaustion and heat stroke weather if you don't take it easy. Dizziness, thirst, heavy sweating, and nausea. And we both have had, we've had a few symptoms. I'm out there running very quickly. I'm running a little too fast through Veterans Park. It was just a beautiful morning on Thursday, and I was just going through the park by the pickleball courts, and I thought I was doing well, and then it really started to hit me later in the morning, and I said, why am I feeling this way? Well, I didn't hydrate enough, and also I pushed myself too much, treating it like it was more like a 70-degree morning with lower dew points, but those dew points and humidity really took its toll on me, and if you're not hydrating well before going out on that run like I did not do, it will catch up to you in a hurry, and then you have to worry about things like heat exhaustion. And for folks that really don't have that cool spot to get to, don't have the hydration, they're not taking the electrolytes, unfortunately, heat stroke, unfortunately, would be another big thing that we would watch in this type of weather pattern.
Yeah, and myself, this, when we talk about heat stroke and heat-related illnesses, just heat exhaustion, I think a lot of times people, they look at this and they just imagine the person that is puking and passing out, and yeah, that is something. That's the severe end of this, but it could be something as simple as maybe even not working out. You just forget to drink water, and you're outside for a good portion of the day. That heat can get you to the point where you do feel a little dizzy, or maybe you got just a pounding headache. This has happened to me a few times.
Yes.
Is I just have a headache, and I can't figure out why. And before you start popping the Advil, maybe just drink a glass of water. I know that sounds silly, and I sound like your dad by saying this.
Yeah, Robert.
But that could just make a huge remedy here.
Water, and what I discovered.
Those heat ailments here, Mike.
No, excellent discussion. Water, go back to basics, but also, thanks to my wife, we found these electrolytes you can buy with B vitamins. We order them from Amazon. We got these big packages showing up at my house every day. I said, okay, what do we got in here? And I found this nice big electrolyte mix, and you just mix a little in with your water, and that really helps your body as well before going outside, okay, well before. So I say don't wait, hydrate, get the water out like Robert's talking about, and electrolytes in this heat are needed. Usually they say you only need that for those athletes that are in those big games, or the soccer players that are out for 5-6 hours. In this type of heat, I would find some electrolytes for that water, and making sure you hydrate and don't wait because it'll be too late. So remember, heat exhaustion, you got the symptoms of being dizzy, excessive sweating. cool, pale, clammy skin, nausea. Yes, I've felt these symptoms. Muscle cramps for sure. And then it can quickly go to heat stroke is the problem, okay? And when you stop sweating, you need to get help immediately and call 911 when you have nausea, vomiting, rapid strong pulses, feeling like you're losing consciousness. And once that body temperature rises above 103, you can be in trouble in a hurry. Your organs can start to shut down. So this is why we're here, making sure folks take the heat safely today, because even though we're in Florida today, nature's taking it to the next level. So we got a few safety tips on here. Robert, I know tonight we've got the Rays game. A lot of folks heading to Steinbrenner Field outside. That's one of our big events. How about in Jacksonville? What do you got going on out there?
I do believe we got a jumbo shrimp game, big blood donation going on downtown Jax here today. And plus we got a couple little other small festivals around the First Coast. But I think the big thing today is just people heading out to the beach. I was checking out our live camera at Jax Beach here a few minutes ago, and there's already a lot of people out there in this heat. And it's just one of those days where, especially if you're out on the sand, it really can sneak up on you pretty quick. And on top of that, the beach, and same deal there in Tampa. You get a lot of those coastal areas. You know what's always right next to the beach?
Well, yeah.
The bars. All the bars.
The lemon bar.
So, of course, people, they're indulging, and then they come out and,
So, that's good advice. So make sure that's why we have less alcohol, less caffeine. I know, more water, and that really goes a long way to protecting yourself. So getting back common sense, but if you're going to go to the beach, what I do with my family, we try to go in the morning on hot days like today. So still get your beach time in, but really you want to limit that outdoor time, even at the beach. That sun's beating down on you. Not much of a sea breeze at Michler's today, even not much of a sea breeze at Clearwater Beach. And Robert, the difference between our sea breezes here on the Gulf Coast versus the Atlantic Coast, the water is so hot. It's just a hot, you have to experience. So you get these hot breezes off the water, which I had not been used to. So you look at the marine forecast, we've got that Gulf water temperature of 87, and that's going to rise up closer to 90 today. It looks like today and tomorrow with this mini heat wave we're experiencing. Then you got that UV index, which is 11 in extreme. We've got a lot working against us and many reasons why we want to limit our time outdoors, even though we've got such beautiful places to see from Tampa to Jacksonville and such beautiful beaches. We want you to be safe. That's the main thing. And at least we got a little good fishing weather. Make sure you have the little canopy over you, reeling in some of those yellowtail snappers apparently are biting really well here. I'm not sure what's biting over, and we'll have to ask Captain Alvarez what's going on the Jacksonville side.
Under this high pressure ridge, at least the waters, especially over the Gulf, are going to be flat out there, right?
Yes, exactly. So good fishing. And if you're looking for beach forecasts, Robert was talking about, some of the beaches, Jax Beach, and things heating up. Here we got 89, 90 degrees. That'll be about our high temperature here. But see, we've got more of an onshore flow on this side of the state. So this is one of the days where, and I'll get these questions, so how can you be cooler in the Tampa area than Jacksonville? Well, a lot of times in Florida, you look at that wind direction and it's coming off the water, whereas I think even Michler's, if we're forecasting there, Robert, did you do you do these wonderful microcasts? Did you keep the temperatures at the beach there a little warmer as well? I mean, not quite as warm as the inland areas, but pretty hot, even on the sand there.
Yeah, it's usually especially the morning low is usually warmer right there along our coastal areas.
Yes.
For example, the morning low with the heat index, because the humidity along the coast at St. Simon's Island, it's in southeast Georgia, here this morning was around 94 degrees. I mean, that's just a sauna. You skip the gym, sit outside there. That's rough.
And you know what, we look at some of these heat advisories and why they're issued as well. It has a cumulative effect on us. So a lot of times in Tampa to Jacksonville, we'll have we'll feel like 100 a lot of times during the summertime. That's not unusual. But what's unusual is when you're seeing a heat index, we hit 100 degrees, Robert, here at 10 a.m. in Tampa, and we're keeping it at 100 all the way through 8 p.m. So think about that for a second. I mean, that's 10 hours of extreme heat and what we call dangerous heat. And even this evening, we're still going to be in the mid to upper 90s. So for folks heading out to our big event, we got the Jumbo Shrimp in Jacksonville, beautiful venue for baseball there. And here at Steinbrenner Field, we're going to have to make sure we hydrate and don't wait and hydrate because, yeah, it's going to be very hot out there even this evening. So if I do a run, I think I've called off my run for today. I'm taking my own advice. I'm going to get some steps in. I'll do some steps around the neighborhood and I'll have a big water bottle and I'll mix in some of those electrolytes like I was talking about. But as we look at our big event here in Tampa, there's our Rays versus Orioles. The O's are playing some better baseball. The Rays, they've had a great season so far, a surprise to many. And I think with that west wind, we'll have Junior Caminero hit not 1 but 2 home runs is my call. 2 home runs. Temperatures still holding near 90 degrees after the first pitch. Crazy, I know.
2 home runs.
But yeah, so the way Steinbrenner Field is aligned, Robert, we have a nice wind blowing out. And that should help the hitters. And then you add in the humidity. So let's talk about those overnight lows. You were talking about St. Simon's Island. Looking at that meteorologically, yeah, let's blame not Robert. He didn't do anything, St. Simon's. It was the dew points, all right? So we'll blame the dew points, or what we call air you can wear. So we got this big chart. You got the deep greens at the top, and then you can see the higher up that line goes, the more uncomfortable it feels outside. And also it puts a cap on those lows. It won't allow temperatures to fall very much at night. So if it's too hot outside a lot of times, always follow the dew point. I think we need to come up with a little book of sayings, the Florida Book of Sayings with the Speta Prangley book of sayings. We've got a whole bunch of them, don't we, Robert?
Always follow the dew points, big bubble, no trouble, and just screaming, it's hot! That's it.
You're going to put that in there as hot for our July. So we have to do a month. We're going to do every month, and we're going to come up with our weather sayings. I need pictures. We'll include clouds as well. It'll be a bestseller. Okay, I'll start working on it with you soon, I promise. I know we're busy, but we can find time for what we love to do. So feels like temperatures. I wanted to show you this one more time. We were talking about...
so if anybody's looking to publish a good book.
That's right. We've got some publishers. We take a look at this feels like temperatures. But Robert, you did a good job. We talked about this as a team, the heat risk, something new the National Weather Service started issuing, I believe, a couple summers ago. And folks really haven't heard much of it, but it's a heat risk chart, not a severe weather chart, but really this is like a severe weather chart for heat, and it goes from 0 to 5. And notice there's too much purple on this map. You see Tampa and Lakeland. I'll kind of zoom out for all of our friends here across Florida and Jacksonville, but for right now, it looks like we are in the extreme range. I mean, that's dangerous heat where you see the purples from Tampa up into Pasco County, Hernando, and that goes all the way up into Jacksonville here. So what we're talking about is rare air. There's another saying for our book. We got some rare air out there, Robert. And you did a great job explaining this chart as well. What are your thoughts on all of this purple and all of this dangerous heat in this chart here?
Well, I think, yeah, the red areas is something you got to remember when we're looking at this, is that the red equals 108 degrees or higher. That's what the threshold's looking at there. So the National Weather Service's heat advisory criteria is a heat index of 108. So it makes perfect sense as why the entire portion of central and north Florida, and even parts of southeast Georgia, are in this heat advisory here today because of that. But on top of that, the purple, that's up to 113
that's
degrees
ridiculous.
Heat indices.
Yeah, that's...
look
at this.
It's not just the temperatures, it is the dew points, as you mentioned, that heat index.
That's some hot gators in the Okefenokee. That's a lot of purple out toward the swamp there. There's Jacksonville, north side, Brunswick.
I was just looking at that. That really is just the entire Okefenokee swamp right there, which makes sense because their humidity is always 100%. I mean, it's a swamp, and then you get temperatures into the high 90s. It's no wonder it's just rough out there.
So, yeah, that's a great point. And then you go down the St. Johns River. Do you see the little swamp effect in St. Johns County? You see what I'm seeing? There's the purple extending down there. Well, we're near Bostwick. Areas along St. Johns, Piccolata. There you go. Keystone Heights, Hawthorne, Palatka, Middleburg. We just all want you to stay safe. That's why Robert and I are here, so we appreciate you. And then we come down here into Alachua County. And then, Carrollwood, Tampa. We got a lot of water in the Tampa Bay area, Robert, so you're going to get a lot of purples as well. A little better along the coast. So, again, that's where I was sending folks this morning for some cooler spots, but not really cooler as we know. At least temperatures will be closer to 90, but a heat index even in Tarpon Springs. Gosh, that's a beautiful place. Will still be not so beautiful, 105 to 110. Indian Rocks Beach, so gorgeous. some of the world's most beautiful beaches here. It's still in the moderate slow down range. So, yeah, we'll even take some breaks on the beaches here, but at least we have an idea of what to do to stay safe, and that is making sure we take breaks, drinking plenty of water. And you and I have pets here, and you were talking about your cats. Do they like this heat? So I've got a little protect the paws graphic about, protecting the dogs, but I include every animal. How about the cats? How are they doing in this
My
heat?
cats are indoor kitties, so
They don't go outside.
They don't go outside. But my answer to that, though, is, and with this graphic, and anybody can test this out yourself, especially if you got blacktop in front of your house. Don't go stand on the road, but if you go outside barefoot for just a minute in the peak of daytime heating and walk around on the cement or blacktop, it's not going to feel good.
Not
your
at all.
dogs as well. The dogs are, and animals in general, including humans, we have evolved to walk on grass, not blacktop. So their feet are not designed for that. You know what really drives me nuts? I'm going to get on a little soapbox here. This drives me nuts is I see people walking through the park with their dog, and they're walking on like a bike path instead of just the manicured grass right next to it. And it's like, bro, come on, man.
So
what are we doing here? Walk on the grass, especially on today where it's just so darn hot. I mean, it could feel like 120, 130 on their paws. What would you call the put your hand down? Explain that test to me here, Mike.
The little 5-second hand test, so be careful. So on the Pinellas Trail, Robert, we've got this beautiful Pinellas Trail that goes 90 miles. It's amazing. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's got tunnels. It connects parks around the Tampa Bay area. But I have seen dogs, plenty of dogs on these trails, on the bike trails, like you said. So today, really, if you're going to the Pinellas Trail, I would say, let's try to get the dogs more on the grass because we're calling for high temperatures, a lot hotter than there. You see 90 produces a concrete temperature of 125. Asphalt temperature is even hotter than that. So on a hot day like today, remember the 5-second hand test. And for those cats, I know there's some outdoor cats. I'd say bring the outdoor cats in as well. We're protecting all the pets, animals, people, plants, and if you have sensitive plants out there as well, keep in mind we got that heat advisory for much of Florida, which only happens a handful of days a year. So, Robert, we got about 5 minutes left, and we always are tracking the tropics, right? So I've got something in the tropics here, right out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And we got, it's coming up here eventually, but it's very ragged, not really looking for much organization at this time. But we do have a little area that's shown a 20% chance of development with the latest from the Hurricane Center. But for right now, I'm not seeing a big threat. What is your take on this?
Yeah.
It's right
There's
out in
a
the
lot
middle.
of dry air towards the north. And you can even see in the last few frames how the northern portion of that looks like it's degrading. I think the biggest takeaway here with this area is this is our first low chance of tropical development in the main formation region. So this one likely not going to develop, but it does show we are getting to that time of year. It's that time of year where we're going to start watching those storms coming off of the coast of Africa, and that's when we start to get in the more likely kind of big time tropical setups here. But it's not just that here, Mike. I mean, we are also monitoring a trough that could set up over Florida by midweek, right?
Yeah, we've got weather impact alerts hoisted here, I believe, for Jacksonville and Tampa. You guys got making sure people have the heads up Tuesday and Wednesday, not your typical Florida rainy season. So let's go to the European. One of my go-tos, there's my baby. All right, so we put her into motion, and oh boy, yeah, so Saturday, we're good this weekend. There's your ridge of high pressure, the two-headed monster we were talking about. Sunday, good. And then I'm starting to see some moisture. Monday, maybe a few more clouds and a break in the heat. And then notice Jacksonville, hey, I'm starting to see things light up a bit as we head toward Monday afternoon. So it looks like, wait, I've seen this somewhere. A little deja vu, Robert, on the map there with that rain.
It really does feel like it, because and to not toot our own horns here, but ahead of Chantal, we said the exact same thing. The NHC wasn't monitoring anything. The models weren't screaming straight up storm, but it is a trough over the Gulf and the Gulf Stream stretching across Florida, and something could spin up on that. But regardless, you have the hot temperatures, you have the warm water temperatures on both sides of the state, so you're going to have instability, and that's going to bring these scattered showers, maybe that chance of just scattered strong to severe thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Then we saw it again last week with our little invest area that tracked across the state and dissipated out. So that's going to be the big story with this. Yeah, we're going to monitor for the tropics, but it really is going to be just another series of days of showers, thunderstorms, maybe even some severe thunderstorms. I don't know about you over there in Tampa, Mike, but we've been getting just the lightning out here. And I don't know if it's just people with more cameras, but we've had, or people just kind of ignoring the sound of thunder, but we've had multiple people struck by lightning. We've seen buildings struck by lightning, and it's just... Yeah, make sure it's silly when we say it, and I know we say it all the time. Thunder roars, head indoors, right?
You got to, well ahead of when it starts raining. So when the thunder roars, head indoors before it starts raining. I had the last line because folks think, well, it's not raining yet, and you see all the heavy rain. And we've had a lot of issues with lightning. In fact, we had some lightning striking homes here, some trees. We had fires that had to be put up due to lightning strikes in Tampa. So a lot of lightning again in the forecast this week, and you can see there's the maps Monday. This is really the rainfall all the way through July 28th. Boy, time is flying. We're already getting toward the end of the month. So Jacksonville in that 2 to 4 inch band plus. But keep in mind, we will see pockets, local pockets of much more than that, like we saw in Tampa. We've seen that with the last two events over the last couple of weeks, where most of us averaged about 2, 3, 4 inches. And then you get these spots like northern Pinellas County with 10, 11, 12 inches. So the flood threat will be there. We look at our weather impact alert. We know we have them up for the weekend for Jacksonville and Tampa for the heat, both today and tomorrow. And then by Tuesday, Wednesday, may even extend that into Thursday, we do have that weather impact alert kicking in, not for the heat, but for the heavy rain and the flood threat, the excessive rain. Just rain, we get rain in Florida like we say we get heat. Well, this is nature taking rain to the next level. And of course, we'll keep you updated on that. So we really appreciate everybody joining us here, keeping you safe in this heat advisory. Robert Speta, great job as always. And as we take a look at that heat advisory, it looks like probably going to be hoisted again tomorrow as well.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mike, for having me here. And we'll be back here again tomorrow as well. So thanks for watching our collab here with Tampa and Jacksonville
we'll see you
across the state of Florida.
Yep. We'll see you again tomorrow.